Hi, and welcome to Chain Reactions, a weekly live stream from Myosin XYZ, the leading global marketing network, and hosted by yours truly, Blake, and my co-host, Polina. Tune in each week as we jam on the latest happenings in the wild and wonderful world of Web3. We're live on Unlonely.app every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, and release the pod every following week on Tuesdays. Now, let's talk Chain Reactions. All right. We're live. Okay.
What is going on?
Jam,
GM, folks.
Jam chat, Jam Twitter feed. Let me just
Jam.
retweet it.
Yeah, I just retweeted myself as well. Here, let me just ping the members. Sorry, folks. We just wrapped up a different session. Now we're kicking off this one, but this would be really good.
That one was member only, so
Yeah,
a lot of alpha.
This is where you'll get the alpha.
Exactly. Okay. Well, let's get into things, folks. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. This is Chain Reactions. This is your weekly time where Polina and myself talk to esteemed guests and leaders from across the marketing space within Web3 and blockchain. And today we have Will Leatherman, who one of our very own, but also, a very well-respected man in his own right. And how do we describe him? Content growth extraordinaire. I'll let you do the intros, Will, but yeah, take it away.
Fractional CMO turned content wizard.
Yeah, I get to introduce myself.
Multi-hyphenate, as they call it.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, a lot of pressure here. I don't know which direction to go. Yeah, I'm Will. I do marketing things. I have a content agency. I like content, but I spent a lot of time working with early stage tech companies doing fractional CMO work, which I try to be the content marketer that I was looking for when I was a fractional CMO, because I like results and I like data, and sometimes content is not data driven, and that bothers me.
Hot take.
Hot take. Yeah, clip that.
That's a good clip. Rogan,
Yeah.
you hear that? Clip it.
Yeah. Send it to them.
When you say that you like to be content driven, do you refer to like more long form content? Do you refer to social content? Because content in itself is a very broad term. So what do you see driving results?
Well, funny you ask. Thank you for that. I just bought this microphone the other day. I'll move it in. I don't know where people can see it.
It's a good mic. Like the
and
quality
I feel
is
so powerful when it's like off screen and I can just move closer so you can hear my voice.
Oh, the sweet dulcet tones.
I feel like a true podcaster.
ASMR.
Yeah, exactly. We won't get into that yet. Yeah, so I mean, I start everyone with objectives. Like, yes, content is such a wide variety and can offer so many different things. Traditionally, historically, organic content was mostly a brand building function, and it still is. There's two pillars to marketing or there's multiple, but the two ones we're focusing on for content is there's like the brand side of things and there's performance side of things. And traditionally, content has sat on the brand side of things, which it still does and is still good. Obviously, people buy brands, not products. If you don't believe me, look at Apple. They notoriously always have worse products, functionally, but you buy the brand because you're a brand loyalist. Great. So there is value to brand content. But for early stage companies and early stage tech companies specifically, and then even more specifically in the B2B market, you need results. You need more customers, and you need more leads to close deals. Yeah. It's very pivotal at early stages because that's what's going to make or break your product. And the traditional ways to get, leads or customers, a lot of people relied on ads for a long time, which worked for a long time. And it was kind of like a hack. I mean, this is why we had the whole direct to consumer market take off as well as did, because you could buy a product, set up manufacturer, run ads, and you would make money. But ads are expensive now.
What a time. What a different time.
What?
It was a very different time.
Oh, yeah.
Just
you guys check out my drop shipping webinar that I do. Just kidding. Just get rich quick. No, but yeah, so ads were effective for a long time and a lot of people relied on them, but we now are at a time where, especially in the B2B space and Web3, like there's not playbooks that are reliable for generating a lot of customers or for user acquisition, or specifically in the B2B space, like deals are being done through partnerships and referrals and word of mouth, which is very effective, but there's no way to kind of reach that top of funnel. So the way I view content, and when I speak about sales-driven content, founder-led content, that is all saying, okay, we're going to now think about content as a performance driver, which means the objective of the content is to drive leads or to drive customer acquisition. And it's a very different strategy of creating content than brand content. The reality is they work very nicely together, but one just has a different objective than the other.
So what's driving more results lately? Any specific platform, any specific type of content?
Yeah. Well, I speak a lot to LinkedIn as a platform. My enthusiasm for LinkedIn solely comes from when in 2013, when I started doing content marketing professionally, I had just missed the era of where you could post something on Instagram and like go viral and get a lot of followers really quickly. And I think for the last 10 years, I've been a little sour about it, that I just like fully missed my shot. And now LinkedIn is wanting creators, and they are allowing people who post content. They're rewarding people who post consistently high value content. And some of the founders that I've worked with have grown 10,000 followers in 1 month just from posting consistently. And I don't think there's any platform where you can do that. Any other platform where that type of growth is possible, right? That being said, if your ICP isn't on LinkedIn, then it's not necessarily that important to grow on LinkedIn. Twitter has switched their algorithm to be content focused versus follower focused. This is for those who don't know and don't study algorithms. TikTok made this, kind of entered the market with this different approach where regardless of if you had a lot of followers, if your content was being received well by audiences, they would continue to push it out to more and more people. And that's why so many people went viral on TikTok. Instagram essentially changed their algorithm to follow this model. Twitter has as well. LinkedIn hasn't followed suit, but we'll get into that if we want. But I do think there's opportunity of growth with Twitter as well. It's just content is a supply and demand, and there are just already so many people creating content on Twitter, and actually less viewers or less daily active users. And so when it's just more saturated, it's harder to have that piece of content really break through, where LinkedIn, we're seeing it a little bit easier. But then it really boils down to who your ICP is and where your audience is and where they're researching this topic.
Yeah, I mean, X and LinkedIn are so fundamentally different. Like for me, LinkedIn, like I have to activate my brain before I enter the platform. Whereas at X, I can just like, it's more,
It's a casual scroll, right? Because
It's
you
a
get a mix
casual
of
scroll.
like, oh, here's crypto. It's so like crypto. I mean, I'm assuming, right? Mine is so crypto focused. It's
Well, you're on
whereas
crypto
LinkedIn
Twitter.
is,
yeah.
I mean, that's it. Right? Crypto Twitter's a whole other world. That's all it is.
I have a lot of design as well. Thankfully, not so much
That's good.
politics. I think a lot of people have politics.
Yeah, a lot of politics on Twitter. Oh, too much almost, especially with election season. But wait, Paulina, I'm curious your take on this though, because you spend time on LinkedIn as well. I see you poking around there.
Spend time.
Yeah, I see you poking around there.
So much time.
And I think the conversation happening on the LinkedIn side that I've seen is it's becoming, 4 years ago, it was like very formal. It was like a very formal platform. And I think it's becoming more informal as more people use it and people are testing different content. People are talking about their personal life and things like that. Do you see it heading in a direction that's more similar to Twitter? And is that good or bad?
I think, well, with LinkedIn, it's very different. I agree. Like 4 years ago, I would not. I remember I started to post on X, and all I could do is just repost the same thing on LinkedIn. But I couldn't. I couldn't get over this fact that, oh my God, there are so many serious people there, and they're gonna see what I'm posting, like people from my university or just random people that I shouldn't care about, frankly. That would see it, and that was bothering me. Like, who am I to kind of express my opinion on this very formal platform? And then one day I was just so fed up with it that I was just YOLO, like, let's do it. And then it kind of just snowballed from there. And then I started to see more of this, like, memes and things like that. I do see them perform well sometimes. Sometimes they don't land. I'm pretty sure, like, the stuff that I focus on Twitter on, that has more opportunity to go viral. On LinkedIn, it doesn't land as well. So like, there's still very, like, a lot of platform sort of specific things that I added, but for me, I just don't like the interface. Like, it seems so hard to me to use it. It's not as easy. Whereas on Instagram, it's like, swipe, 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 quick, quick, quick. On X also, swipe, swipe, swipe. On LinkedIn, it's more just, thank you for your insights. It's later.
You don't have to say that, right?
I know,
No one's forcing you
I'm trying to
say the
be more like
boilerplate.
myself, but at the same time, when I see all these comments, I'm like, well, I better put my bigger pants on, and
Yeah.
provide some value.
Well,
It's a
I think
social
there's something
pressure.
interesting. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
social pressure. And I think there's something interesting that you said before about that is, like, there's peers, there's like people you went to high school and university with, there's other people that watching, maybe. But then Twitter, you kind of be yourself and be more free. I think that's a hurdle that anyone who posts on any platform has to, like, mentally get over. But I think, the question is, like, at this point, of someone who is pretty, open on social media and is a pretty regular poster, do you still feel that way? Do you feel that social pressure of peers and others kind of, like,
No,
judging the content?
no, I'm trying to, but this is just me, it's not LinkedIn, it's just me. I'm kind of, I'm a perfectionist and I'm never good enough and all of the blah, blah, blah. Let's not get into this, but on LinkedIn, I'm trying to, this is kind of like a challenge also for me to kind of put myself out there more, but at the same time, I've seen so many people making fun of people on LinkedIn, those who, like, share their insights from, I don't know, peeling a banana, the other day. I peeled a banana, and here are
proposed to my
5 things I
girlfriend.
learned about pricing from that.
Yeah.
I got married
Well-
to my fiance the other day, and here's 10 things I learned about,
Exactly.
Guess what?
blah,
So
blah,
I
blah.
don't
Yeah.
want to be
His
that person,
post
okay?
went
I want to
viral.
be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like they figured out what works, the format that works, and I can tell you now how many platforms I tried, like the AI content, sort of the SaaS tools that you tried out with yourself. I can see all these templates, and it's just, like, bothering me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that I didn't use them or I don't use them to, get some insights, or I just think that don't use them and just post as is, at least add something of your own.
Do you see that on Twitter? I want to get on the AI discussion.
The Twitter,
Yeah. Do people use
I
AI
mean,
to write Twitter content?
do you not
Of course
see
they do.
tweets from brands that are like block of text and 3 hashtags after that?
No, but
Yeah.
people you look up to or you follow.
I mean, the people that I look up to, they maybe use AI to get some inspiration from it and, like, some structure in their posts, but I can see that a lot of personality shines through. Having said that, I'm not
Or have they
anti-AI, I'm
tailored
pro-AI.
have they tailored their AI to just write really, naturally?
Honestly, if they did, kudos to them, because this is, like, I want to kind of like a second brain, right? But I think AI is smart. I think if you use it the right way, it's amazing. I just don't want to fall into this trap also on LinkedIn to being like everyone else. Like, for example, you may have seen it. There was a girl project manager from Barcelona, or I don't know, from Spain, and
Okay.
she got laid off, and she was trying to apply to jobs, couldn't land any gigs on LinkedIn, and then she took a completely off the wall approach of creating a video about herself. It was kind of like a mini biography where, hi, I'm Marta, and she talked about her journey, how she was, applying. And it was all like a bit of cinematographic story of her career. She went viral, like viral, viral. I think she has over 50K followers on LinkedIn now. And I followed her just because I wanted to see how she would leverage all that fame kind of
Yeah.
to, what she did?
And now I'm getting nervous.
Started a
She got
podcast.
No, I wish. Well, actually, she got a job at another Spanish startup and hasn't posted since really all that much. So she
So she
hasn't.
just wasted
She
it.
completely wasted it. I mean, she posted another
That's
video
funny.
about the guy who made the video in the same style, same kind of storyline,
Oh,
being like, "Hey, hire him because he helped me, do this thing."
Yeah.
But to me,
That's nice.
it's just like so sad because she got so much momentum and she could really like, but it's just not for some people.
not
Where I
everyone
was
wants to be a
getting at
content creator.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, where I was getting at is that LinkedIn also rewards, I think, originality as well. So I think brainstorming ideas with AI, giving it your own spin and being like original also pays off if you, but
What I think that kind of poses an interesting question. She had the opportunity to become a creator. I'm sure she could
she
leverage
didn't.
that same content to Twitter. Is everyone supposed to be a creator? Should everyone be a creator?
I don't think so. I'm actually thinking quite a bit about it lately. I think that creator have so much advantage when they launch something of their own, but at the same time, if I look around me, uh, also I'm from Russia, which is like late to the whole AI thing completely. And when I go there to visit my friends and family, I feel like I travel back in time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a completely different world where people are so happy to just have their job and just go there 9 to 5. That's it. Maybe
Yeah.
they post something on Instagram. That's as much creators you can get. Others hate social media, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. Like, no one has to be anything. I think if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. I think it's a muscle that you train also. It's not something like, to some people it comes naturally,
Mm-hmm.
but to others it doesn't. Like, to me it doesn't. I've been meaning to do videos since February this year,
Yeah.
and I just can't get past this blocker of like,
It's easier said than done. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I have a tripod, I have a microphone, I have everything for God's sakes, but I
You're
just
getting
can't get over it.
all the pieces. So you put it together.
Exactly.
This was a
Yeah.
good starting point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, here we are.
So I don't think everyone has to be a creator, but I think that if you want to do something of your own, it poses a great advantage down the line, but you have to be smart with it, of course. If you have a
What-
1 million audience, and you can,
Yeah.
it all can all go to waste as well.
The thing that always baffles me is, especially like, I work with founders and startups, like helping them people build their personal brands. And a lot of people think of it as like a ego play, or like that's their preconceived notion going into it. They're like, I don't see myself as a thought leader, or like I don't have anything to say. Fine, understandable. I get why you would get that. What baffles me is people can't wrap their head around how powerful it is to have distribution of an engaged audience of like followers, or a newsletter, or an email list,
Yep.
or whatever it is, a distribution channel that you own, that no one, like you're not paying for, no one can take away from you. You have a direct one-to-one communication channel with those people. And to your point, Paulina, like if you ever want to do anything, like start a company, launch a product, even like it gives you leverage in job searching.
Yeah.
Having some of it is so valuable that just people can't wrap their head around for some reason.
I think, well, and if I could chime in on this, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think what's so interesting is like, you know, with Myosin, right? Like we have all these different people with different requests all the time. And frankly speaking, like KOL management and like doing KOL marketing is such a big and common request, right? But when you really think about like what are KOLs, it's exactly what you said. They just have distribution. They're literally key opinion leaders because they have their audiences. So when we talk about founder-led marketing, it's like you're basically just, it's influence, it's distribution, and as you're saying, it's kind of crazy that we don't. I don't know. It's like undervalued. I guess is really what you're saying, right? Like, but it's so much easier to do in today's era. Anyone can be a KOL if you know how to do it right.
Well, if you
But
if
it's
you have
such
the
an
distribution,
unnatural. Yeah. Exactly.
and people, right? You assume there's value in having. Well, there's obviously value in distribution, but you assume that that person has value because they've been able to build that following, right? There's enough people that agree with what you say, so they.
You're assuming they didn't buy all
to,
their followers, basically.
right?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
kind of easy to spot in this
Right.
day and age. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can buy LinkedIn followers.
LinkedIn is
can.
harder, I think.
You can.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh,
There are so many
Paulina seems to know.
I mean, there are so many of these
Alpha.
platforms. If you can buy Instagram followers, you can buy X followers, you can buy LinkedIn
Fair.
followers.
Fair.
There are B2B KOL platforms that are
No
specifically
way.
tailored to LinkedIn, like SaaS tools to like source B2B influencers on LinkedIn.
Exhausting.
Like
I'm already
it's
exhausted.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think.
yeah. I mean, we obviously live in a, like, we're exposed to it so much being in like emerging tech as a whole, right? Like that is where a lot of these, it seems like in our bubble that everyone's trying to be an influencer, but the reality is like majority of the world is not trying to be a LinkedIn, thought leader. I don't think. So we're definitely, subjected to this, but I think like it's also the same demographic that is potentially, that sees it as a business opportunity for something in the future, or a way to, leverage. It's leverage. Simply, you're building leverage into your own identity, which is so valuable.
Yeah, I mean, like you said in the beginning, right? People like buy from people, and also it's the same with brands, like bigger brands, smaller brands. It's true in Web 2. Look at, I don't know, Represent, Poppy, Obvi, I don't know, all of these like CPG brands, to Web 3 as well. Okay,
Yeah.
Winnie from Chip, for example, the first one that came to mind.
Yeah.
It's throughout, to me, and also working with founders in the past. It's more of a, it has to be more of a partnership. A lot of the times when founders come and they understand the value of founder-led content, that's already a win. But understand what it takes to build a successful engine to have this founder-led content is a whole different level, because it's not a pay and kind of disappear situation. It's pay and you still have to do to get some work done.
Yeah.
Like the interview, like there is no way I can read your mind and create content that would be you, so
One day we'll have
Coming soon.
Neuralinks. Yeah. A Catalyst Neuralinks coming soon. It's embedded in your head.
Yeah. Blake, you're a founder also.
Yeah. I want to start asking Blake some questions.
Yeah, hit me
Blake,
some questions.
founder-led content for Myosin. What's on Twitter? You post sometimes, but you're not very consistent.
You know what it is? And I'll just be honest, right? It's not that I don't want to post on Twitter, but I think it's like, well, both of you were friends on Instagram, right? Like, I think we all just have platforms we're most comfortable with. And honestly, what I found is, even though I'm co-founder of a Web3 company, like I was already so I've had Twitter since like 2011, but I never quite found the right like the thing for me, you know, like, so I never really used Twitter until we did Myosin, which is obviously, you know, we're hosting the stream. But for me, like, Instagram has always just been where I'm more comfortable because it's so visually led. Like, I love taking photos and I like to live a fun life, I guess. So, and I like to curate more non-work related content. But you know what it is? I think it's really like a bit of kind of like we're saying, like, I think everything's so easy to in principle do, but it's that like taking that first step and like being super deliberate about it. And I've definitely written some articles and content that, you know, have done well on Twitter, but I think, Will, you just gave a really great presentation, you know, internally with our Myosin members around the importance of like consistency and repetition and creating good content. I think that's been the hard thing is also like when you don't have much time, and I'm doing so much, and it's kind of like, do I want to spend more time on work on Twitter where I'm like, it's so much easier for me at least to like or comment or bookmark a tweet rather than be like, oh, I gotta like respond and I gotta be a reply guy now. And I've tried to get a little bit more unhinged, but it does still feel a little like there's that. I think, Polina, you kind of hinted at it too, of like there's a bit of resistance even for me of like, how unhinged am I really gonna get here? Like, and I feel like I don't quite feel comfortable letting loose.
All
You know?
in.
Yeah.
All in.
Maybe that's what I need to do. I don't know. Like, but I can get pretty spicy. So there's a balance. And being consistent, I think, is the hard part because I think it's that fear of like, especially with Twitter, it's like what if you tweet something and like you get 0 likes, you know, or you get 1 like and you're like, it's,
So
you
what?
know,
Yeah.
I
What
know,
does
but
happen,
it's that
Blake?
nothing. That's the worst part. It's like I should just fucking do it.
You know that post or that topic didn't do well. So do
Yeah,
something different.
that's true. But then it's like, but what if I'm just trying to be more like, I think then there's also this balance between like more reply guy stuff and then like really like better thought out content, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I think both are good. And I wasn't going to go here, but I think it's interesting that we've ended up on this topic. Do you guys know who Rick Rubin is?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Rick Rubin.
Although
He
we
wrote a
should,
book.
just in case people don't know.
Yeah, I'll
on
give
the
I'll
stream.
give an overview.
Yeah.
Rick Rubin is famous for he is
It's
not
like creative savant. Yeah.
exact creative savant, I guess would be as a title. But he is hired to go work with musical artists. He's worked with like everyone under the moon that you can think of. And he's not a musician. He goes in the studios and he helps them unlock their creative potential. That's like his thing. Anyway, he wrote a book. I highly recommend reading it. Even if you are not an artist or creative, it can be applied to you. But he talks about in the book, there's like the thing that stuck with me the most and probably gave me the most amount of confidence to start being so public on social media or posting is if you can, right, there's this natural fear of being judged or looked down on, or like, you know, the peer network, the social effect. And that's like the biggest blocker of why people don't post. He is a spiritual kind of guy. So he gets into like, that's more of a projection, right? If you were judging someone, if you're being scared of being judged, that means that you naturally would probably judge someone else. So there's like some higher mind, you know, kind of mindset in there too. But his recommendation to artists or people that create something, and that could be creating a piece of video content for TikTok. It could be tweeting something. It could be creating a product, right? If you're producing something and putting it into the world, the best way to view it from the creator mindset is the same way that you would view writing a journal entry, right? You have a perspective of a topic or the world, and all you're doing is documenting that perspective. The same way you write, Dear Diary, today I felt this, I saw this, you know, I experienced this. It is your personal experience of a situation.
Love that.
And no one can argue or talk down to your personal experience. We know this, like that's just being human. You view something, we can look at the same thing and see it very differently.
Yep.
But that is the art or the process of capturing something. So once you start thinking about creating content like that, you kind of lose, or you should be helpful in, kind of eliminating that possibility for judging, because, how is someone going to judge my perspective of a topic? And
Mm.
and that's really all it is, creating or documenting something is you on LinkedIn or Twitter, you're voicing your opinion about something. And guess what?
Yeah.
There's going to be people that see it the same way as you, and there's going to be people that don't see it the same way as you. Neither is right, neither is wrong. It's just you capturing your perspective on a specific something.
When you said
That
about
was really
like your
good. That was a good
perspective,
summary.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Clip that.
learning,
Clip that.
I immediately thought about these people on LinkedIn who share their insights from like eating a banana or all this. It's their perspective. You can
So
judge that.
might be cringe to some people, but I don't know. I
But
bet
honestly,
they landed
People
some
are still
clients from
talking
that
about it,
viral
right?
post. Yeah, they definitely got some clients from that.
No,
there's
but I mean,
so
well, that,
many different perspectives and people. There's like a buyer for everything. So
Yeah.
you just have to find your
And that's what
place.
goes back to, and I spoke about this on the Myosin Learns a little, is like, who are you creating this content for? Like, are you creating it for your high school friends and your peers and colleagues? Probably not. Most people are creating content to grow their business or drive their business forward. And if that type of content resonates with the ICP that you're trying to target, then like, screw everyone who's judging you for that content. Like, if it's working, it's working. And you're doing what you need to, reach your audience or your ICP where they are.
Yeah. This is all very helpful, Will. I'm thinking as a founder, like how can I leverage this? And then it's like maybe just seeing a fucking rip the Band-Aid off and just speak my mind more, perhaps.
I think
Got a lot of opinions. I
Blake,
just
if
don't
you
put them out
did,
there.
I think Blake, if you did, you would just post 5 tweets a day, like one liner or something. Just like
Blake, you're a funny guy.
compulsive tweeting.
You got good
I think
one-liners too.
just have
We'll
to
go for it. I think I just need to make like a goal of like every day at least once, and then like work almost like working a muscle, right? I think you were talking about that, right?
Yeah.
And in the gym, start somewhere and keep working your way up.
block out the time in your calendar. Like what I do is during the week, I never have time to think about content. I only have time to bookmark things or drop links in my notes. And then over the weekend, when the chats are quieter and I have kind of some time, I go on a walk, like listen to a podcast, and that usually inspires me and gets like the wheels turning. And then I come back home and I feel more like creatively inspired to do stuff for me rather than for clients
Interesting.
or agency or whatever. So I draft a lot of the stuff then, and during the week I'm just kind of keeping it flow, like engaging and stuff like this, but blocking out time.
Yeah, that's super interesting because I'm like the opposite. I need to, if I have an idea for a post, first of all, I abuse voice memos on my phone. I have the new phone, and like you can now set like what that side button does, that like where you can like normal. I set it to voice recording, and as soon as I have an idea for a post, I will just ramble into it, like what I think maybe the post is. I'll go back and write it later.
It captures the immediacy of it.
Down. Yeah, I have to get it down. But I feel like
there's...
Wait,
I want to talk about that flow real quick. When you get the voice memos, do you just like re-listen to the voice memo and then you transcribe it, or do you just automatic? Shouldn't there be like you're an AM master? Shouldn't you just be able to like drop it and then like it transcribes automatically?
With the iOS 18 update, I think that's what iOS we're on. In voice notes, you can copy transcript, so it will transcribe it for you. So I just copy the transcript, drop it into Notion, and then either write it or have a copywriter help me. But Pauline, I was going to ask on the hill of posting, right? Like if you've never posted, it's very daunting to get up that hill of just like starting that cadence. Do you find at a certain point it just becomes kind of second nature, like thinking about what could be content?
I think it's hard. It's hard for me to judge because I've been in social and content for as long as I've known myself, and I've always thought about it. Like when I look
Mm,
through Instagram and things like that. I save the things that I think the storytelling is good, or I look at how
right.
many angles they switched and like what caught my attention. It's kind of in the back of my mind all the time. But at the same time, when I'm working and I'm having calls with people, and they ask me, we have this brand, like we don't know what we should post and how, and to me it's so obvious, like
Yeah.
what the plan has to be kind of, and all I have to do then is go through the competitor landscape, see what's being done to kind of identify where we need to go. But to them, like a lot of the times, it's just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's not clear. So I think it's a muscle that you train. I think the more you consume responsibly, the more ideas you will have, because you will see it everywhere. um, but a lot of the people, they consume irresponsibly. It's kind of like fast food content. So
What's
if you
being
just
I
scroll
think what you're
down,
saying is like being deliberate, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
you can consume it, but you have to actually think through like, what am I encountering here? Like, and then pattern recognition, which I think I'm sure you're really good at because you've been doing it your whole career,
Yeah.
right? That's the hard part about social media. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the advice I give people often, and like Blake, this might even apply to you, is
Yep.
like, go either record your calls, right? Like you sit on a lot of calls
Mm.
during the day as a
Yep.
founder.
mm-hmm.
Just
Yep.
record your calls and you will be shocked the things that come out of your mouth that become good content or could be good content. And
Yeah.
now with
Yeah.
AI, like feed 4 call transcripts into Claude and be like,
Yeah.
what are interesting, social content that I talked
Mm.
about? And like, it
That's a
will
good
give you
tip.
places
Pro
to
tip.
start.
Yeah.
And then take it a step further, just record all your calls and clip your own, clip it into video. Like that's a
Yep.
easy place to start. Especially if you're busy with other things all day.
As you say this, I literally had a call, I think like 2 hours ago, and I remember I like described Myosin in such a way that like even in the back of my head, I was like, that's a good thing. Like I should do something with it. And then I
Yeah.
never do. I was like, that was a nice description, but and
You
then
have a
yeah.
TLDR, no? All
I have a
this AI.
TLDV thing, yeah. And it
Go-
literally
go-
does the AI. I just
LDV.
don't use
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
go back to that recording, Blake.
Yeah.
Mm.
it
I
up.
task you to post about that this week.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
got
okay.
2 days.
We're
Some
cooking up a
homework.
platform. I mean, some alpha. I mean, just on the Myosin end, like that's what I'm focused hard on, and we're describing
Yeah.
it, and I'm pretty excited for what's coming out. So we should do some promo. And here's a good
I
point.
think
Yeah.
it's definitely really valuable. I a lot of the times just went back to the recording of the because the founders, they're most passionate about what they're building most of the times, and they're
Hopefully.
their biggest promoters, and even then when they don't want to put it, content out themselves, or they don't have this muscle developed yet, it's the least thing to do to help them kind of package it in a way
Yeah.
that would resonate.
Has anyone
Yeah.
coined the term consume responsibly in context of content?
I did.
Mm.
Just
Yeah, I was gonna say
no.
I would wear a shirt or a hat that says that. I think that's epic. That should be your tagline.
Get some merch.
You should see some merch coming. Some
Yeah.
hats.
Yeah,
Social
exactly.
media queen. I'm
Yeah.
ready. I'm ready.
Well, wait. I'm gonna drop a note to myself to play around with that actually.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But I have my notes everywhere. It's I don't know if you guys use any to-do list apps, but my to-do list app is just on like notes. Watch this, or just random thoughts.
Oh,
It's in notes. It's in there. It's in bookmarks everywhere.
I will say I have different systems. So I use Trello. I still use Trello just because like I don't collaborate with anyone on it. It's just my personal. I've been using it for years, so it's just like my personal
Have you heard of
Kanban
Notion?
board. I know, but like no, but the
There's this
whole point
really
is
cool tool.
Don't
no,
bully
but the
Blake.
whole
Sorry.
point is I'm not connecting it to anything else. It's
Okay.
purely just the cards.
I like that.
I don't.
Hey, it's
I
like
don't
your
want
journal.
the other.
I can't judge.
Exactly. No, it's just it's only cards. I don't even write in the cards. I just have tags and I have cards and that's it. And it's
Yeah.
like today, tomorrow, later, holds, done. And what I love about
I
it is
like
like
that.
I'll try and adjust the today section to actually be like, what are my to-dos today? To
Yeah.
actually focus. And it's the best feeling when you actually do a task and you move it to the done. because every now and then that done has been going on for years. So every now and then I'll scroll through that done, and you go through it, and you're like, wow, that's like there's a sense of accomplishment that comes from it.
Yeah.
And then the
I like that.
notes live in Charmverse, like my Apple Notes, like Notion, like whatever. But I try and segregate the two, because I think like kind of like what points it, like otherwise it gets so jumbled in my head. So like having that one place where like, and I don't share it with anyone, right? It's my personal Kanban. So it's like I don't need a collaborator or explain myself. I'm just like, this is how my brain operates with the, you know. Anyways, yeah.
I like
But
that.
yes, I do know Notion does better versions of it.
I'm just messing with Blake. No, my to-do list on Notion, not a sponsor, is my like to-do section always gets so long that it almost is like I get on there and I'm like, oh, it's not really a priority anymore. I like the today, tomorrow, later separation, because it's like, all right, what do I actually need to get done today? Might make that adjustment. Thank you, Blake.
Let's go. We're all learning here. We're upskilling.
Yeah, this is great.
It's the first time I think that I hear a tomorrow thing, because it's usually a to-do list, like in-app to-do list, they only have today, right?
Yeah.
Well, because you know, generally you think about like at the end of the day, you're like, it's kind of like short term, slightly more short term, and then like the other stuff. Because and then generally you'll find the stuff in later and hold. You know, they'll just kind of linger, and if it's really important, you'll do it. You know.
Yeah.
But it's today and tomorrow that
happens.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And having that done list, it's nice, man. Every now and then I'll scroll through, or I'll go all the way to the bottom, and then I'll be like, wow, that was a different time. So it's kind of like this nice retrospective of, you know, all the different tasks. You can even just see, like, when you see 5 of those tasks together, you're just like, wow, that was a different time. Like, we were doing very different things.
You know, Blake, this sounds like a fantastic LinkedIn or Twitter post about how you stay organized as a busy founder.
Bravo. There we go. See? That content brain always churning.
It's a plague. Once you start looking at things as content, everything's content.
Everything is content. So that's actually a question for you. Do you think of everything as content? Because you were asking us that question earlier.
It's a sickness. It's awful. I will be talking with friends on the weekend about like something completely unrelated. And in the back of my head, I'm like, that would have been a good social clip. or like I wish I could write this down and it wouldn't be really weird to turn that into a LinkedIn post. I'm like skewing to the kind of like weird cringy side of LinkedIn. But I know who I am, and that's okay. Content.
Hey, we embrace it. Content.
Yeah. Some people, when they talk, it's like you can clip every word that, you know, every 5 seconds that they say, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Can't relate.
Yeah.
You just gotta yap more, Paulina. No, you say some good stuff.
I think it's, if I was maybe a native speaker, things would have been different for me. But I never really, I think that's what also was stopping me from posting content from the get-go to doing video to everything. It's like, there's always, I think the most used prompt of mine is make the sound English native.
Oh, really?
Probably, because I'm always scared, like in the back of my head, that it sounds weird, or that you can't really say it this way, or make it sound better, because I know there is a way to make it sound better, but it doesn't really come to me, maybe naturally.
Yeah.
So this is my problem.
I feel like with like so many people using AI to write content and it all sounding the same in boilerplate, like that type of uniqueness of having it being in a foreign language and translated to English actually could be like the superpower that makes you stand out.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. I mean, in full agreement there. I think it's like what's gonna make you different? You know, embrace it. Especially with that all the content that's going viral on like Instagram, TikTok, like this whole new generational shift is all around like authentic content, right? And like the weird shit. So it's like the more authentic you can make it, and like what is more authentic than just being yourself, and it stands out, right? In a sea of sameness, just be Paulina. Yeah.
I'll start writing tweets in Russian, then I'll see what you'll say.
You'll just attract a
see.
very different audience.
I'll get into politics Twitter or something. No.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Just stay away.
Yeah, you'll end up on political TikTok or Instagram real quick.
With my surname, well,
I have wondered that. I have wondered that.
we're not related.
It's just funny. It's funny.
Got some Googling to do. Only
You don't know?
to try to wrap things up or to come back to the beginning a little bit. I feel like I yap about growing personal and founder brands on LinkedIn a lot. Is it possible on Twitter still?
Yes.
How do you do it?
Being authentic, right? I mean, I think it comes with a grain, as in every platform, it comes with a grain of consistency, authenticity, and luck.
Yeah.
I've seen people, get up to 1 million impressions in like a span of a month, let's say, but impressions doesn't mean followers, okay? It doesn't mean ICP. You can get a ton of impressions on a meme that you posted can go viral, get 1 million likes, but you would get very little from that. It depends on what your goal on the platform is. When you, in my point of view, it's easier to build a personal brand on Twitter and grow followers organically that way than if you're a brand trying to grow followers organically on Twitter, because people want to follow people like opinionated people like hot takes on Twitter. And I think experimenting with content can take you a long way. Like, when they just launched long tweets, that was performing well. Then the videos were performing better. Like, it's a constant experimentation. And I think that reply guide is still the name of the game. It's on LinkedIn, I think it's stronger in a way that it pushes you to the network that you want to be associated with, kind of. On Twitter, it feels a bit more random. But I think, depends what your goal is, right? Because my goal on Twitter is just get to know more people in the space, learn from more people, connect with, like-minded individuals. I met Blake on Twitter. I met you on LinkedIn, which is funny. And then I connected you, kind of.
Let's go. You did.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's right. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it really depends on what if your goal is to go viral and get 30K followers and earn creator, this rewards from X, whatever. You can adopt a different strategy.
By the way, how much do you even have to? How many followers or how much do you even have to do to get any kind of meaningful payout? Because I feel like I've seen some very big creators who I don't think the payout's that high, right? Is that true? I don't know.
I don't have that many creators or that many followers.
Okay. No, I was just curious.
No.
Anyway,
I'm not too sure. I think there are a few. I don't know, honestly.
all good. I was just curious.
But I think, there's, for example, as a creator or a KOL, back in the day, and Blake, you probably remember, Azuki had this program of creator in, what was it, creator in something. They had two creators, right? One of them was Will Swoosh.
Oh, like creators in residence? What do you mean?
Yeah, creator in residence. Will Swoosh, and another was Elena. And both of them have different. They might have been the same person, like we don't know for but both of them focus on different things. Will was more like in-depth research.
Will was great. I followed all his. I haven't seen his stuff in a while, but he was posting some great content. Yeah.
Yeah, so they associated themselves with a very strong brand and grew as creators really quickly, and got a lot of influence. I'm not sure what, how the deal was made and things like that, how they were chosen, but there's definitely a few different ways one can grow on X. Spaces, broadcasts, reply guy.
I think at the end of the day, it's about consistency, though. It's about consistency.
Exactly.
I think you guys both know that. Yeah. Being ever present. And that's why, like anything else, right? It's like, it's so easy, but you got to do it. You know, it's like anyone could be an Olympic athlete, but you got to do it, right? That's the hard part.
It's not just on
Yeah.
X or LinkedIn. I mean, on Instagram as well. Like you would see creators or YouTube, you know, posting videos for
Yep.
a year or something, and
Yep.
just wouldn't perform. But then out of a sudden, it would just skyrocket. It only takes sort of one thing to get out of there, to find your people, and then snowball. But it's important exactly to stay consistent and make sure that you get that ball rolling, and not be like the girl on LinkedIn who just got a job and forgot about all her.
Such a
gains.
missed opportunity.
What a
I'm
shame.
also-
you should
I'm
just
so
buy her
excited
account.
for her.
Buy
Yeah.
her whole thing.
But also good for her recognizing that she doesn't want to be a content creator, because there's a lot of people that shouldn't be that are trying.
Yeah. Or you
I mean,
might end up
maybe
with a
she'll come
sickness
back
like
to it.
Will, and you'd be like, "That's content. That's content."
Yeah. No, I don't
Yeah.
wish
I'm
that
kidding.
sickness on people.
I mean, I kind of want it, so I don't know. Give me a bit of that magic sauce, you know.
Like
You'll
you
get
have
there.
it. Look at your stories. You have it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, no,
there on Instagram, but I need to get there on Twitter. That's the hard part. All right. Well, I think we should probably wrap up in a second. But are there any final thoughts or notes we want to make? I think, as always, we should, you know, Will, you should have an opportunity to kind of show yourself, and kind of where can people find you when, you know, if they want to learn about founder-led marketing, which we've had a pretty, you know,
LinkedIn.
great conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, Twitter, where do they find you?
LinkedIn's an obvious one. Twitter, I'm pretty much W Leatherman on all platforms. Twitter, you just got to add a 9 at the end. I don't know the reason for the 9. It's been like that since, I think, middle school.
So
and
good.
then, hit me up on LinkedIn, and then gotcatalyst.com. You can learn about founder-led content for all your marketing needs. And then check out our Myosin Learns. I just did a Myosin Learns where we educated people on how to drive leads and close sales with founder-led content. So check that out as well.
That'll go out soon as well. So yeah. So thank you so much, Will. Thanks for coming on. Thanks
been
for
fun.
leading our content, and this is a really great chat.
Yeah,
we'll see you online soon.
Peace, guys.
See you online.
All right. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.